Like, and it's like,
the real stuff.
And I've noticed that when you start getting on this elite level per se, it's like everybody is everybody wants to see you now. For some reason, all your peers want to see you. Like, because they didn't see you before, but now all your peers want to see you. Like, because I realized that people didn't know it was the fact that I just didn't have a computer before. But now I've got a computer now. I've been this person that I've been telling you I've been for the past 3 years. But now I've got a computer, it's like I'm showing you that I'm this person. It's not, I haven't slowed down. There's only been an uptick in the amount of work that I've done. There's not this, what is it, like, it's not, is he gonna slow down? No, bro. This isn't even my speed. This isn't even my, like, you guys don't even understand. This is not my speed yet. This isn't even my speed. I'm trying to get into gear 1. It's sticking, and it's like I'm not even in gear 1 yet.
That's it.
It's like, what would it be like if I had someone to do admin or something, or if I had just another person? I don't know what they would do. What if it was like 2 people, or 2 of me? Like, and what if there was just the creative side, and then the organizational side? And it's like one of those ones where it's like, okay, like there's because once people see there's a vision there, then there's no point for them to be there anymore. It's like you're meant to understand from the beginning. But back to the point, it's like people can't keep up, and people get frightened when they can't keep up. People because the weirdest part, because I told you this the other day, sort of thing. Wait, was it you or someone else? Basically, when I say you got, it was in London Bridge. You got to say it, and then you got to do it. Just say it, just say it, because to you it's arbitrary. To you it's just like, because you've already completed it in your mind. And then when you start putting a date on it and you start going la-di-da-di, and it's like, it's just you skip it, doing a stroll in the park type thing.
I think that is the key. I think that's one of the biggest keys to anything in life.
Because
to
really,
achieving anything. It sounds so basic.
So arbitrary. Like, time is even arbitrary. Time is a performance. To me, time is a tool of performance. It is not like something that I base my skill level on. Time is a tool of performance. So I don't need to get this done in 9 months. I'm going to, but I don't need to. It could be 2 months. It could be 18. That this thing can come out. But I'm just saying that it's going to be 9.
9, yeah.
I'm just saying, look, this is...
But the thing about that is then it gives you... You have milestones. You're time blocking, and it gives you... It's like when you're watching series or episodes. It's like, this happens in this part. You know what I mean? It's like... It's almost like chapters. And it gives you a structure and a path to walk. It kind of gives you lights as signals to in the path which you're going to walk. It's like me moving out in November. Like me planning to go to LA in a couple of years. Like I'm putting those markers down. Like with my story, I'm fleshing it out. But like next month, I'm going to be doing a beat a day. Like, that's what I'm doing. I'm going to be getting into the swing of making tunes again, and that's the next thing. I'm going to be recording the whole process.
Yeah.
Like as much as I possibly can of each one. But that's my plan. Like I'm going to be.
What, recently? In recent time?
What do you mean?
As in, are you going to be doing that lately? Or
going to be doing that lately? No, yeah. Well, I'm finishing these like projects, but that's the next main thing I'm getting on, because like where I've been doing a lot of freelance stuff, I haven't been making as much music as I wanted to, just in terms of the idea. And I've just been it's been nice in a lot of ways, because I've just been putting together, like I haven't even been drawing. I've been sketching and stuff and ideas for it, but I haven't really been drawing for me either, but I've just been coming up with the basis of everything that I'm wanting it to be around. So now it's about pure experimentation, pure ideation, getting used to. This is all part of the plan, man. Doing this podcast. Why I knew this was correct now is because I'm ready now to start being like on social media, not to absorb it or be in it per se, but to start building a community, like putting my ideas out there, not just through my art, but through my connections with all the other people that I create with and that I work alongside. And now it's just about I've built the skills, but it's getting my craft to a point where I'm in the zone. It's like for me now, it's time to work towards that, and it's not about preparing anymore. It's about being in the game. You know what I mean? It's like there's training, and it's like that thing I'm talking about. When you're at the beginning of your craft or at your game, you got to do everything because you need to learn the skills to get ready for game time. You know what I mean? The season's coming. You know what I mean? Or the trials for the getting picked for the teams are coming. You need to get your skills up. But once your skills are there and you've done the team pickings, like now it's like you got to get ready for game time. So
I've been telling people this for like the past how many months now? I'm gonna call it 8. 8 months. I've been telling people literally by 2022, get everything prepared. Get as high as you possibly can.
Yeah.
You need to get as high as you possibly can. That's all I'm gonna say now, because like I've been telling people the whole thing, and it's like, and they can be weird about it, but I'm telling everybody, it's like, look, 2022 is it. It is like that's the starting line. Like you, bruv. If you thought I started now, if you thought now is the time that I started, this is warm up. This is me flexing these execution muscles. Like literally, I only knew high level execution from, like I only knew that's what I was supposed to do, because there's things that you want to do, which is probably do like one project a year or something, and then there's things that you're just supposed to do. And you have to do everything at the highest level you possibly can. 100%. And what one of those things is for me is execution. And I have to execute with speed, because that has always been my ethos. It's get good and then get to that place fast. So when I was doing marketing and promotions and stuff, it was like, okay, I know the ropes now. Now let me do all of that creative stuff that comes around it. And then now let me be the best promoter on the block. Now let me let everybody know who I am. Now let me, when I walk into a club, everybody knows who I am. Like those type of things. Like those are the type of staples in promotion. People know you. People want to buy. And I didn't even sell tickets, but I made a lot of money. I made a stupid amount of money.
And just from promoting? Just
from being myself. Like, I'm not going to say how I made money, because that's nobody's business. But it was lit.
Pharmaceuticals.
It was lit. Oh, wow. Yo, but it was lit. But yeah, and it's like, so it's like get good and then be the best. And like just be a high level, program yourself for speed. I've always been programmed for speed. And even when I was learning, when I was doing personal development early or something like that, it's like, I need to learn as fast as I possibly can. And that's like literally where I need to be.
No, 100%. Yeah, no, I think that's important for every stage, no matter what. Like learning is just what's the word? Like that's a given. That's always going to be something that's.
I don't know if it's a given. It's a given to who?
Well, it should be. It should be. You always have to be.
Okay, like, let's get into this topic, because we say that, but it's really not the case. It's not everybody that chooses to learn.
Yeah, but okay.
No, it's not. Yeah, but let's tell them like the importance of it. Let's actually.
No. Not everyone chooses to, but I'm saying it should be. Hey, whether it is or not, that's a different story. Whether it is for a select group of people or not is a different story.
Okay, give reasons. Articulate the reasons why that is important, because it's not really a given. think
For
if you're
example,
15
for
and you're
example,
listening to this
when
right
you're
now.
when you it's like when we're saying with words, just being conscious of what you take in, the information you take in, what you absorb. It's like that's why I don't even really like watching stuff like Love Island. Really, yeah, I might watch it from time to time, like just a bit interesting to be like, oh God, roll my eyes a bit, and it's like just a bit of entertainment. But it's like with your vocabulary, what you choose to take in will help you better articulate the things you think about, the words you have, and even just on the basis of thinking. It's like I've only just sort of had and found the ability to notice when I get like anxious about stuff, or like things that are coming up, like even if it was like interviews or meetings where I've got to be with clients or whatever, just being able to have the self-awareness and notice and understand that, and have the conscious awareness to be able to go, oh, I know why that is, and literally it goes. That same thing applies to your craft and the way you move forward in life. Just everything from life to your career to your relationships. You learning and understanding things better is what takes you on each step higher along the way. Like you can't do bigger things with the same thinking you have at one particular level. And what learning does is it literally changes your brain and your paradigm. This same thing when we're talking about a thesis, that came from all the things that I was putting together in my own world, the things I was reading, the things I was listening to, and I still think I'm actually quite bad. I'm quite bad at learning actually, because what I don't do is I don't focus enough on particular things. Make sure that I know I understand that, and then move on to something else. Or, even if that's just a short period of time, I take what I need from that thing and then move on. And that journaling for me has helped, because now, and even this podcast, just being able to, like, even with the past 3 episodes, I feel like I've changed from thinking so much about, like, oh, how I sound or what I said, to just saying the things that I think about instead of worrying about how it sounds. That's the whole process of learning. And when it comes to a craft, you understanding the underpinnings, the things that are coming in the future, what's the essence of what's going on in your industry or your creative world, or even your own artistic message, how that's evolving. You learning is going to be able to is going to let you be able to contextualize that. And when you're able to contextualize that better, people are going to connect with it better. Not necessarily that you are doing it for them, but when you're able to contextualize it better, you're going to feel better about it. That's what's going to take you to a better and higher level. Like that's just the way I look at learning. That's the way I look at getting better. That's my perspective on it, and I'm trying to get better at that each day, better at contextualizing things.
Let me see if I can just adjust the microphone. Check 1, 2. Is this better? Okay. Yeah. When we articulate ourselves, because like I just feel sometimes that because see, look, here's the thing. I realize now that me and you are in the flow. We're in the slipstream, basically. Like in Finding Nemo, where the turtles hit that wave and they're going as fast as they possibly can, basically, and they're swimming super fast. That is the slipstream, right?
I would say I'm coming in. I can see the slipstream. I like before I couldn't, but yeah.
But what I'm no, there's a difference, because you are in the slipstream, I can tell you, and what you're thinking about is the tunnel vision, because that comes after the slipstream. It's like when you may be in the slipstream and you're in the flow state. So basically, what I mean by that, how to articulate it differently, is to say you aren't so concerned with everything else around what you're doing, or even the past you that you were. So even the you that was in that mind of learning and trying to figure out articulation even, or that person that was like just hungry and just trying to hit notes, but instead you're hitting walls. Like you're not in that. You're not in that. Yeah, it's like, so you're in the slipstream and you're just trying to. You're really trying to get into that wave, and you can't get into that wave if you're you can't get into that wave if you're thinking about everything that was past. So when I want us to articulate about learning, it's like, because I know that there are people that are just not in the codes. Like me and you can speak the codes all as long as we want, but there are certain things that just have to be taught in a certain type of way. So when I talk about learning, like, because there's how you learn, which is one thing, and there is what you're supposed to learn, which is another thing. And then there's like all of these other things around it. So how you learn is like one thing. And let me try and talk about that while being in this state, because me, like you learned recently that I listened to the podcast, or I listened to podcasts or YouTube videos at 1.5 speed, right? So it's like me, I can,
and I tried it. It feels
I
weird.
I can listen to information at speed, only because when I was really young, and by young I literally mean in my early 20s, I had to force myself. Literally, I had to force myself to listen to audiobooks all the way through at once. I remember there was an 8-hour, I don't even remember what audiobook it was. It was just 8 hours long, and I was like, I have to finish this today. I was like, I have to finish this today, because I couldn't listen to things for about more than 10, 15 minutes.
You'd zone out.
And I'd have to break. I literally had to break the mold of how I was listening.
So I want to ask about that actually. So was it a case of when you started like noticing you was like zoning out or whatever, you literally sat down and was like, I'm gonna sit and listen to this? Or was you just doing how you would usually do, but chose to make sure?
Okay, there's a difference. There's a difference between just even being able to listen all the way through and focus all the way through. Because here's the thing: I could watch a TV show in the background and do my work. This is like back at uni times, obviously. I can do my animation work and I can listen to a TV show in the background. But when it came to learning shit that I'm supposed to learn, then it was a different experience. The audio didn't go in the same way. It didn't feel right. So and even before that, like I started with, because this was back when 50-minute YouTube videos was not a thing. There was no 2-hour YouTube videos back then even. You couldn't do that type stuff. So I had to literally remove myself from all those things and start being a person that's able to listen to this thing in one sitting. And after that, like now I don't need to listen to stuff in one sitting, but it's just the idea of being able to meditate on one thing in that particular space. So, and how I got there was like, it was just like breaking practice. So there was a 3-hour one, and then I would listen to that, and then I'll listen to that again, and then I'll listen to that again, because I had to time myself.
So you would be, okay.
Literally, I was just not. I would say I'm gonna start this at the beginning of the day, 3-hour one, and by the end of the day, I should finish it. And that's like a
What do you mean? So like you would be like an hour, you'd stop, but you'd
no,
make sure you listened intently.
I would zone out. I would do other things.
Oh,
and
so
then
you would listen to it as many times as you needed to until you was sure you knew all the things that
bro, I'm literally mean. I was not able to focus on this thing. I was not able to focus on the book. I was not able to focus on listening.
I get that, but I mean, like, what was it that
so
you
I had to pause.
Flip that?
Okay, yeah. What I did was it was that I just chipped away at the time that it took me to get to that place. So it would take me 15 hours to listen to that 3-hour audio. And then the next day, it'd probably be like 8 hours. And then the next day, it will be like 4 hours or something. And then like 3 hours on the nose. And then I'll listen to a 2-hour one. And then I'll listen to the 2-hour one over and over again. And the 2-hour one just happens to be, what book is that? It doesn't matter. It's arbitrary. But just having those days where I was just focusing on those singular books, just to bring myself to a place where I could not just be there, but I could listen to the thing. And then the next stage was me actually listening to the book and writing about the book. So I had to take notes.
I think that's a big thing that sort of.
I had to listen, and I had to be like, oh shit, that's a good idea. And then it starts becoming a game.
That's the funny thing.
Then I start hitting notes.
There's a different, like, because when I was a bit younger and I first started reading like books, like, you know, I mean, these self-help books or whatever, or you just books which talked about psychology or the mind or just information, just general things where I was trying to learn about something. A lot of the time when you're doing these things, I know for me it was a case of like, this is why this is these exact times where you need to make sure your vocabulary is on point so you can say whatever it is you need to say at any particular given time. But
some of us have had more practice than others.
Don't make me expose you right now, yeah? I got my phone camera, bro.
I am not this. I've not been this person all the time,
bro.
Okay,
but
yeah, go on.
I used to not like. I would take it or I'd take notes, but there's a different thing about internalizing something when you're approaching a bit of information or something you're reading or something. It's like it even happens with videos. Like that's why I've tried actually to stop watching YouTube videos whilst I'm working or doing stuff. Like
really
because I'm either going to make sure I listen to that. Like when I'm working in particular, say if I'm cooking or something or I'm eating, I'll listen because then like I'm not. But when I'm working and I want to make the most of that, like I might have new ideas that are coming whilst I'm working on that. Like I want to just have that energy for that. And it's not just, like at the end of the day, I'm either going to put that energy into one or the other. Like I'm either feeding my soul or I'm feeding my creativity for my work. Like I've really started to notice that's how I'm doing that. That might change in the future. I know it might when I'm, you know what I mean, as things progress. But at the moment now I'm finding it's better when I put on my energy. I just work quicker. I just get stuff done quicker. Like what would have took me a couple of hours, it cuts down in half. I get it done in hours.
But this is the thing. It's like that's not how it started. Like you can't. There's not slipstream focus. Doesn't come within within moments of you when you're trying to learn, because there is no existence of focusing on your work and then focusing on feeding your mind. You're just trying to get to a place where you can just put yourself into a mode of thinking, because you've built up a certain type of mental toughness, like elasticity with your thoughts and being able to just live in a moment for so long. Like you're not telling about the years that you've spent meditating, because it's not like you just decided one day I'm going to focus on my work and I'm going to focus on feeding my soul. You've meditated for years. And this is the type of stuff that you need to be able to articulate, is the fact that you've been meditating for years. It's not like, and that skill from meditating is transferable to work.
Yeah, no.
And then you meditate on your work, and then you meditate on feeding your soul, and then you meditate. That's how I'm trying to come across here. It's like it doesn't just start at it doesn't just end up in that place, because that's where I am, and there's a place higher than that, but that's the place you exist. But right now you need to think about, or what I'm thinking about is, how was I in uni, in my dorm room? Because I would work in my room in my boxers, pure heat. Literally, I was in accommodation, so I could have the heat on 24/7 and no one could say shit to me. I would be heat, no clothes on, just
born
boxers.
from the fire.
Trust me. And I would just be working. I would literally just be on my laptop in the dark with my lamp on, working, killing my shit off. Literally just not my actual shit, but my work.
Call it multitasking, bruv. Call it multitasking.
You know the way there, fam. You know, you have to, because the lingo is a bit nuts. Yeah. So I had to be able to make sure that I was focusing on work, and I had to make sure that, because back then it wasn't even like, because I told you already, when I've told you just before, it's like it wasn't just that I was focusing on the book. It was like I needed more. Work was so boring that I needed more. I needed a different challenge, and the challenge needed to come to me in one form or the other. And then that's when I started reading and all of that type of stuff, because I just needed more. I needed to feed my mind more. It could have been.
Was that third year?
Yeah, this was 2014.
We started doing this at the same time. That's so crazy, bro.
Yeah,
bro. I didn't know. I didn't even know. I swear to God, I didn't know. You see how I guessed the exact year? That's because I knew. It's so crazy how paralleled. It's so weird. Like our lives kind of do in different ways, but it's like, bro, this guy's got the exact same bed sheets as we hasn't even know. Like, like I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's crazy because at that time, I remember that was when I was first questioning. And like, for me, it wasn't boredom. It's because I was questioning. Like, I had this question. I was like, I was second year of uni. I knew my third year was coming up. I just moved out for second year. And I was like, is there more than this? Is there more? Is this it? I'm just going to finish uni. I didn't really have a true solid, like, and in a weird way, I did kind of feel a bit depressed. I wouldn't say I was exactly what, but I started to question that. You know what you're doing? It's like Googling stuff and shit.
Yeah, fam. See, the funny thing
that's when I started
it was second year with me as well, where it was like, does this not get any harder? And I would be holding my head, being like, this is too easy. Is this life? Is this the level of life that we're at, where it's just so easy? And it's not like anything has been harder than stuff that I've went through in uni. Yeah, like this to me, it feels like first year of college work. Literally, it feels like I'm doing first year college work or something. It doesn't feel like, it feels like I'm me now and I'm doing first year college work. Because I'm like, whoa, like I can do this at speed, kill it off. And I'm just making sure that I'm being able to get all the kinks out till I hit a stage where I'm able, like, till I hit a point where I know, okay, this is where the real work starts, or getting all of, here's a better way to say it, get the little stuff perfected so that when bigger stuff comes along, then it doesn't feel that much of a challenge. Like all of this little things, all of these getting the ideas out, like getting the codes, because this is the point. It's like having the codes perfected, having the principles perfected is so